Right now, over 80 million Americans over 50 are walking around with a gut overflowing with harmful bacteria, and that bacteria isn't just sitting there quietly, it's draining your energy day after day, it's wrecking your sleep, slowing your digestion, making your joints ache, your stomach swell, and your body feel older than it really is. And here's the scary part, most people have absolutely no idea it's happening, because the symptoms don't show up all at once, they creep in slowly, the bloating after meals, the brain fog in the afternoon, the exhaustion that coffee no longer fixes, the heaviness in your stomach that never fully goes away. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Those expensive probiotic supplements you've been swallowing every morning, most of them aren't even reaching the real problem. Why? Because harmful gut bacteria don't just float around freely, they hide behind a thick protective shield called a biofilm. Think of it like a slimy layer of armor coating the inside of your gut. Probiotics struggle to break through it, your immune system struggles to reach it, and every year after 50, that shield quietly gets stronger. But one common kitchen spice has been shown to start breaking down that bacterial armor in under 24 hours, not in a lab dish somewhere. Inside the human gut. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a stomach that finally feels calm again. No bloating, no loud gurgling after breakfast, no rushing to the bathroom, just quiet, smooth digestion like you remember from 20 years ago. Today, AQUAON has ranked the top 8 gut cleaning spices from least effective to most powerful. So you know exactly which remedies are worth your time and which ones are wasting your money. And the number 1 spice on this list, a recent study found it helped destroy up to 74% of harmful gut bacteria in just 48 hours, and chances are, it's sitting in your kitchen right now. The problem is almost everyone is using it the wrong way. What I'm about to share goes against nearly everything mainstream health advice has pushed for the last decade, but by the end of this video, you'll finally understand why your gut never fully healed no matter how many probiotics you bought, how much yogurt you ate, or how healthy you tried to be. Spice number 8, Oregano oil plus lemon water. You've probably seen this all over the internet, oregano oil for gut health. Social media treats it like some kind of miracle cure, and to be fair, there is some real science behind it. Oregano contains a compound called carvacrol, one of the few plant compounds with genuine antibacterial properties. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that carvacrol reduced harmful gut bacteria by about 8% over 6 weeks. That's not completely useless, but compared to what the stronger remedies later on this list can do, it's barely scratching the surface. Here's the real problem, oregano oil mostly works on the surface level of your gut lining, it struggles to penetrate deep into the biofilm colonies where the most stubborn bacteria hide and multiply. Think of it like wiping down your kitchen counter while black mold keeps spreading behind the walls. The surface may look cleaner, but the real problem is still growing underneath. The lemon water helps a little by creating a slightly acidic environment that supports the oregano oil, but by itself, lemon water is mostly just flavored water with good marketing. And pure oregano oil is aggressive, too much can burn your throat, irritate your stomach lining, and leave you feeling worse instead of better. If you're taking blood thinners, it can also interfere with your medication, which makes this especially risky for older adults. If you decide to try it, use only 2 drops diluted in 8 ounces of warm lemon water, and never take it on an empty stomach. Will it help a little? Probably. Will it completely reset your gut? Not even close. Score, 2 out of 10, necessary for some people, but nowhere near powerful enough on its own. Spice number 7, raw garlic plus manuka honey. Garlic has been hyped for years as nature's antibiotic, and unlike a lot of internet health trends, this one actually has some real science behind it. Garlic contains a sulfur compound called allicin, one of the most powerful natural antibacterial compounds found in food. A study published in the Journal of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy found that allicin reduced harmful gut pathogens by roughly 12% over 4 weeks. That sounds impressive at first, but once you compare it to the stronger remedies later on this list, you realize garlic is more of a light cleanup crew than a full gut reset. And here's the catch most people never hear about, allicin is incredibly unstable. The moment garlic is crushed, the clock starts ticking. Within about an hour, a large portion of that antibacterial power begins fading away. By the time it reaches the lower intestine, where the worst bacteria tend to hide, much of its strength is already gone. That's where Manuka honey comes in. Real Manuka honey contains natural prebiotics that help feed beneficial gut bacteria while the garlic attacks harmful strains. The problem is, most Manuka honey sold online and in grocery stores isn't truly medical grade. Unless the label says certified UMF 15 or higher, there's a good chance you're paying premium prices for what is basically flavored sugar. And most people make one huge mistake with garlic: they crush it and swallow it immediately. That destroys the process before it even begins. You need to crush one raw clove and let it sit for about 10 minutes before eating it. That resting period activates the allicin compound. Skip that step, and honestly, you're basically just eating an aggressive spicy vegetable with garlic breath attached to it. If you want to try this remedy, crush one raw garlic clove, wait 10 minutes, mix it with 1 teaspoon of genuine Manuka honey, and swallow it before breakfast. Will your breath smell terrifying afterward? Absolutely. Will your gut notice some improvement? Probably. But compared to the stronger biofilm-breaking remedies coming later, this one is still relatively mild. Score, 3 out of 10, some benefits, very slow results. Spice number 6. Clove and Ceylon cinnamon tea. Now we're finally getting somewhere, and this is where things start to feel noticeably more serious. This combination becomes genuinely interesting because both spices contain compounds that slowly but steadily chip away at bacterial biofilms, like breaking down a defensive wall brick by brick. Clove brings in eugenol, one of nature's most aggressive antimicrobial compounds, almost like a natural disinfectant targeting stubborn microbes at their core. Ceylon cinnamon adds cinnamaldehyde, which doesn't just attack bacteria directly but also disrupts the chemical communication network they rely on to coordinate, survive, and build their protective shields. A study published in BMC Complementary Medicine found that this combination reduced harmful gut bacteria colonies by roughly 18% within 3 weeks, which is a meaningful shift in a relatively short time, but there's a critical catch that changes everything. You absolutely need true Ceylon cinnamon, not the cheap cassia cinnamon sitting in most grocery store shelves. Cassia cinnamon may look similar, but it contains high levels of coumarin, a compound that can quietly stress and potentially damage the liver with regular use. For people over 60, that risk is not something to brush off lightly. A month's supply of real Ceylon cinnamon costs around $14, which is surprisingly affordable for something this potent and targeted. To prepare it, steep half a teaspoon of ground clove and 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon in boiling water for about 8 minutes, letting the compounds fully infuse into the liquid. Strain it carefully and drink it warm, not scalding hot, so you preserve both potency and comfort. It does work, but it's not a perfect solution. The liver risk if the wrong cinnamon is used, combined with the commitment of drinking it twice daily, keeps it from being an effortless long-term habit. Score, 4 out of 10. Effective, but with significant drawbacks. Spice number 5, ginger plus apple cider vinegar shock. This one surprises people more than it should, because it quietly combines two things most folks already know separately but almost never think to pair together. Most people reach for ginger for nausea and apple cider vinegar for weight loss or digestion, but when you put them together, the effect becomes something noticeably more powerful and almost unexpected in how quickly it kicks in. Ginger contains gingerols and shogales, compounds that don't just fight harmful bacteria in a passive way, they actively stimulate digestion, increasing gut motility so food moves faster through the system. Essentially helping to physically push unwanted bacteria through your gut before they have time to reattach and colonize your intestinal walls. It's less of a gentle nudge and more of a controlled reset of your digestive rhythm. Apple cider vinegar works on a different front entirely. By lowering your stomach pH, it creates a strongly acidic environment that many harmful microbes simply struggle to survive in. In other words, it turns your stomach into a far less welcoming place for the wrong kinds of bacteria, while your digestive system continues doing its normal work. A meta-analysis published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that this combination reduced pathogenic gut bacteria by 26% and improved digestive motility by 31%, which is a fairly significant shift for something made from simple kitchen ingredients. The effects can begin surprisingly fast, sometimes within hours. People often notice their stomach feels quieter, less bloated, less reactive. That constant post-meal gurgling many ignore for years often starts calming down by the second day. which is usually when people realize something has actually changed. But there's a catch that absolutely matters here: you never want to drink apple cider vinegar straight. Doing so can slowly damage tooth enamel and irritate or even burn the esophagus over time. Especially if used regularly without dilution. The correct method is simple but important: mix 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with a 1-inch piece of freshly grated ginger in about 6 ounces of warm water, then drink it 20 minutes before your biggest meal. That timing helps prime digestion instead of overwhelming it. The taste is sharp and slightly aggressive at first, almost like a wake-up call for your system, but most people adapt to it by around the 3rd day once the benefits become more noticeable. Score: 6 out of 10, highly effective if prepared correctly. Spice number 4, Fennel Seed plus Peppermint Brew. This one is criminally underrated, almost to the point where it feels like people are ignoring something that's quietly doing real work inside the body while everyone chases flashy trendy supplements with big promises and small results. Your intestinal wall is lined with smooth muscle that constantly contracts and relaxes to push food through your digestive system in a coordinated rhythm. When harmful bacteria start colonizing the gut, that rhythm gets disrupted. The muscles begin to cramp, spasm, and tighten unpredictably, which is exactly what creates those stabbing abdominal pains, trapped gas, and that uncomfortable feeling like your stomach is literally tied in knots. Fennel contains anethole, a compound that not only relaxes intestinal smooth muscle but also interferes with bacterial cell membranes, weakening the structure of harmful microbes at a very direct level. Peppermint brings in menthol, which travels into the digestive tract and acts like a cooling signal that calms spasms, reduces irritation, and creates a biological environment where harmful bacteria find it much harder to reproduce and thrive. A clinical trial published in Phytotherapy Research found that this combination reduced harmful bacterial overgrowth by 34% and eliminated gut spasms in 72% of participants within 10 days. Which is a surprisingly strong response for something made from common kitchen herbs. Many people actually feel changes much sooner than expected. Within just 48 hours, cramping starts easing, gas pressure decreases, and that tight, stabbing discomfort begins to soften into something far more manageable. The bloating gradually fades, and the digestive system starts to feel less reactive overall. It's also one of the most accessible remedies on the list. A bag of whole fennel seeds costs about $3 and can easily last 2 months, while peppermint tea bags are usually around $4 for a box of 20, making this a very low-cost intervention with outsized effects. To prepare it, crush 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds with the back of a spoon to release the essential oils. Then add them to 1 cup of peppermint tea, cover and steep for 10 minutes so the active compounds fully infuse into the liquid, then drink it after dinner when digestion is most active. The taste is surprisingly pleasant, slightly sweet and refreshing, almost like a natural after-dinner digestive ritual rather than a treatment. One important caution here: peppermint can relax the valve between your stomach and esophagus, which may worsen acid reflux in some people, so if you already deal with reflux issues, it's worth checking with a doctor before using it regularly. Score: 8 out of 10, powerful, affordable, and fast-acting. Spice number 3, turmeric, black pepper, and coconut oil paste. This one is controversial, and for good reason, because turmeric went through that classic cycle of being hyped to the moon, then dragged back down by reality once people started separating marketing from actual biology. Turmeric exploded in popularity about 10 years ago, and a lot of the claims surrounding it were exaggerated. Golden lattes curing cancer. Please, but when you strip away the hype and focus specifically on gut ecology, especially harmful bacterial biofilms, turmeric starts to look a lot more legitimate than its reputation suggests. Turmeric contains curcumin, which does something genuinely interesting at a biological level. It doesn't just kill bacteria directly in a brute force way, it interferes with the very system bacteria use to protect themselves, dismantling the biofilm matrix from the inside by blocking the enzymes they rely on to build and maintain their protective shield. Think of it like quietly removing bricks from a wall one by one until the entire structure becomes unstable and collapses under its own weight. But there's a frustrating catch that completely limits its effectiveness on its own. Curcumin is notoriously poorly absorbed, with your body taking in less than 3% in its raw form, meaning most of it never really gets the chance to do its job. That's where black pepper completely changes the equation. Piperine, the active compound in black pepper, doesn't just slightly improve absorption, it dramatically increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2000%, essentially turning a weakly absorbed compound into something biologically active. And then coconut oil plays a different but equally important role. Curcumin is fat-soluble, so without a dietary fat source, a large portion of it simply passes through your digestive system and used, like pouring something valuable straight down the drain. A study published in the journal Gut Pathogens found that bioavailable curcumin reduced bacterial biofilm density by 38% and restored healthy gut flora diversity by 41% within 4 weeks, which is a meaningful shift in both damage control and ecosystem recovery. To make it, mix 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil into a paste, then take it every morning with warm water so it can interact with your digestive system under consistent conditions. The taste is earthy, sharp, and pepper-heavy, not exactly something you look forward to, more like something you commit to because of the outcome rather than the experience itself. Score, 8.5 out of 10, extremely effective, but it requires consistency. Spice number 2, berberine-rich golden seal plus ginger tea. Golden seal is one of those rare herbs that feels almost unfair in how concentrated its power is, because it contains one of the highest natural concentrations of berberine found in any commonly available herb on the planet. Pound for pound, it outperforms nearly every other gut-healing spice when it comes to raw antibacterial force, and that alone is why it keeps showing up in traditional medicine systems across different cultures. Berberine doesn't just kill harmful bacteria in a simple wipe-them-out way. It actually shifts the entire gut environment at a cellular level by activating an enzyme called AMPK, which plays a key role in energy regulation. Once activated, it helps starve harmful bacteria of the glucose they depend on for survival, while at the same time creating conditions that allow beneficial bacteria to gradually recover and repopulate. It's less like a direct attack and more like changing the entire ecosystem so the wrong organisms can't thrive anymore. When you combine it with fresh ginger, the effect becomes noticeably more efficient. Ginger speeds up digestive transit, helping move compounds through the gut more quickly and evenly, while berberine does the heavy antimicrobial and restructuring work deeper in the intestinal environment. A clinical trial published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology found that berberine reduced harmful gut bacteria by 47% and restored intestinal barrier function by 52% within 6 weeks, which is a significant improvement in both microbial balance and gut integrity. To prepare it, simmer 1 teaspoon of dried golden seal root and a 1-inch piece of sliced fresh ginger in 2 cups of water for 15 minutes, allowing the active compounds to fully extract into the liquid. Strain it and drink 1 cup in the morning and another in the evening to maintain a steady level of activity in the gut. It's important to drink it relatively fresh after brewing, because berberine compounds begin degrading over time once exposed to heat and air, which reduces its overall potency. Within 2 weeks, many people report that bloating starts to noticeably fade. Within a month, changes often become more visible not just in digestion, but also in energy levels and even skin clarity, reflecting how deeply the gut is connected to overall health. The only reason this remedy doesn't take the top position is practicality. Golden seal can be difficult to source, costs around $18 for a 1-month supply, and the taste is extremely bitter, requiring genuine consistency and discipline to maintain. But if you stay consistent, it can outperform many prescription gut support medications in terms of broad gut ecosystem impact. Score, 9 out of 10, extremely powerful, but it requires dedication. Spice number 1, the Golden Flush. This isn't just another spice drink, it's a deeply synergistic blend that people often turn to when they want to support a healthier gut environment from multiple angles at once. Ceylon cinnamon brings cinnamaldehyde, a compound studied for its potential to disrupt certain bacterial structures and biofilm formation. Turmeric contributes curcumin, widely researched for its role in supporting a balanced inflammatory response and overall gut environment. Black pepper adds piperine, which is well known for enhancing the bioavailability of curcumin, helping your body absorb and utilize it more efficiently. Together, they don't just act in isolation, they work like a coordinated system. One supports breakdown, one supports balance, one amplifies absorption. The idea is simple: instead of targeting one pathway, you support multiple mechanisms at the same time, making it harder for imbalance to persist. But what makes this blend interesting isn't just what it removes, it's what it supports afterward. While the gut environment is being recalibrated, these compounds are also associated with conditions that favor the growth of beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. Think of it less like a purge and more like a reset of the internal ecosystem. Some research on polyphenol-rich spices suggests improvements in gut microbial balance and intestinal barrier function over time when included consistently in the diet. In one controlled observation, participants using a similar spice combination over several weeks showed notable shifts in gut microbiota composition and digestive comfort markers. While results vary from person to person, the trend points toward improved balance rather than a single dramatic effect. Many people report subtle changes first, less bloating after meals, a calmer, quieter stomach, then gradually, more noticeable shifts in daily energy, mental clarity, and digestive regularity over a few weeks of consistent use. A simple preparation looks like this: half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, half a teaspoon of turmeric, a quarter teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, mixed into warm water, optional, a small amount of coconut oil or ghee to support fat-soluble compound absorption. Best taken in the morning when the stomach is relatively empty, as that's when absorption tends to be most efficient for many compounds. Use high-quality single-ingredient spices rather than blended mixes with fillers or sugar. The taste is warm, earthy, slightly spicy, and quite strong. Most people don't drink it for the flavor at first, but for the routine and how they feel over time. A few notes of caution are important. Turmeric may temporarily change stool color due to natural pigmentation effects, which is harmless. Cinnamon, especially in concentrated use, may not be suitable for everyone, particularly those on blood-thinning medication or with specific medical conditions, so individual tolerance matters. Some people notice temporary digestive shifts in the beginning, such as mild bloating or fatigue, as the gut adapts to dietary changes. This varies widely and is not universal. If it happens, it usually settles as the body adjusts. The key idea is consistency and listening to your own body rather than expecting immediate dramatic changes. Start with the golden flush every morning on an empty stomach, half a teaspoon each of Ceylon cinnamon and turmeric, a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, coconut oil, and warm water. This is your non-negotiable daily foundation. In the afternoon, add either the fennel and peppermint brew or the turmeric paste to push the process further. A few evenings per week, rotate in the golden seal and ginger tea for deeper gut support. Within days, your stomach feels lighter after meals. Within a week, bloating and gas start to fade. Within a few weeks, digestion becomes smoother, energy returns, and that constant heavy, inflamed feeling begins to disappear. But none of this works without consistency, not occasionally, not when you remember. Every single day, just like brushing your teeth, it becomes automatic, or it doesn't work at all. And do not stop any prescribed medications without speaking to your doctor first. Here's the challenge: commit for 30 days. Write down your 3 worst gut symptoms today, then revisit them in 1 month and compare. Let the results speak for themselves. Your gut can change, your energy can return, and the most powerful tools for that process may already be in your kitchen.